Sneak dissing, we don't see the competition. I drop off a ransom note that your art is missing, nigga.
Pay us in full with the money, or she gon' get her fingers clipped off like Lil Sonny,
M.Reckttv.
Yo, we always gonna be best friends, man.
Because I remember you telling me part of the story before. 50 ain't want nothing to do with BMF and Big Meech at that time.
Nor Jeezy at all. He didn't like nothing about it. Anybody else around bring it up, they always speak in admiration.
Mm-hmm.
His input will always come from a spirit of sarcasm and predicting the downfall. And
Bleu Davinci, right?
yes, sir.
Let's establish this. You had a relationship with him, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Put big checks in his pocket.
Let's get into the Bleu Davinci relationship, and we're gonna get into everything that's current that's going on with him.
Okay, good shit.
You met Bleu Davinci how?
We both originally, way back in the 90s, from East Coast Crip. East Coast Crip sectioned up in different divisions. So it's not like we grew up together, but from very young adults, we knew each other because we was basically on the same label for a period of time. Because his big homie from 190, Wino, had a label. He did a lot of production for Coolio. And then through that avenue, Wino knew the Dub C's, the Tradies, the Dazzes, the Sebos. That level of the game was fluent through Wino's house in a suburb close to LA with a big ass studio, fly shit. Wino had it cracking. And one of my homies introduced me to Wino, my homie Big Bump. And then after that, I became basically Wino artist. But when I arrived, Bleu, he wasn't Bleu Davinci, he was just Bleu, was a part of a group called The Lower Class with another nigga from 190, the homie Spade. It was Bleu and Spade, 190. The Lower Class, that was Wino premier group.
And this is before BMF.
Yeah, it's before BMF.
Gotcha.
So during that time, Wino and Bleu in particular, amongst other frustrations with the whole situation everybody was experiencing, Wino and Bleu experienced their own frustrations. It was getting real tumultuous between the two of them. And at that time, Bleu started announcing to me and Spade, like, cuz, fuck Wino, I ain't fuck with him no more on the music. I met some other niggas, they don't care nothing about no music. They about this money, but they gonna put my shit out. Y'all should come fuck with me. So I'm gonna keep it a Google with you. On Everything I Love and Live For, I had the invite to be equally as involved as Bleu eventually was from day one. Wino, however, I just gave you the list of who he was attached to. Bleu never quantified or couldn't quantify what the future held to get me to see why it would make sense to walk away from what seemed the industry to deal with these niggas. But my inclusion into that BMF situation at its inception, as far as Bleu is concerned, goes beyond just Bleu inviting me to be a part of the team. Although I did not accept the invitation, Bleu and I stayed homies. And then there was a period of time where the Bleu, Meech, and some other niggas had a house in Gardena, California that is right adjacent to Carson and Compton. So I used to sell weed at the time, nothing major, I keep an ounce or two of QP selling dimes or whatever it was. Bleu used to just call me like, hey, cuz, you got some weed? I'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, fall through. And I would never leave with no weed, no matter what I had. They'd buy it up. However, it was a nice house that like a grown couple would occupy, but it wasn't furnished. It was just like a trap light, but nobody was diming up. Niggas was in dingy t-shirts, and it was like
they was still in the ground.
It's like 1999, 2000. Yeah, they what all that flash hadn't never appeared. So from then, that's the last memory I had after Bleu met them. That was the time frame, and then Bleu literally took off with them and was gone.
Wow.
And then I still had yet to meet Suge, spend 2 years with Suge, walk away from Suge, then meet. But all the while when I'm fucking with Suge, you hear this BMF shit buzzing, like it's this the biggest gang in the world. You just hearing the reputation building because like I'm around black industry, I'm around the road, and also and it's buzzing. So like, and then you start hearing this name Bleu Davinci, and just because of everything, my mind just wondering, can't be the homie, can't be, and then finally opened up a Source magazine one day and seeing Blue in there chunking up the hood like this. So it was like, damn, that's the homie, cuz so I already had gained a respect for the movement without knowing that he was involved. And now knowing, nigga, I know he the rapper of that shit. I know the nigga that's the face. So still, like when Blue left with them, between he and Wino, it got real bad. And the fact that I remained Wino artist and carried on, you know, Blue like turned his back on that situation and went on to what it seemed to be like success. I wasn't sure how he viewed me as in relation to all that. So here it is. I'm on tour, moving around with the unit. I see him in the Source. I'm knowing that's the homie. Not being actually on tour, I had a time to be in Miami with some of my own partners, Tattoo Danny, my nigga Slim, and Puto, and they was throwing a big party for Blue birthday called Heaven on Earth at this big ass club. I made it my way to go down there, and when I finally got up on stage and was kicking it and doing my thing, politicking, the nigga, somebody on stage called me over and was like, "Hey, Spider, hey, tell this nigga how far we go back." And the individual he was talking to is somebody in the capacity of a CEO, had broke bread with me about a year or so ago on behalf of one of his artists that I knew. I did a feature, and that was the only thing I knew about this nigga. He a money nigga, so I know when it was time to get paid, he the one that went in his pocket. And so he was telling this nigga about that story apparently, which caused this nigga to call me over and say, "Spider, tell this nigga how far we go back." This nigga is referring to that house in Gardena when he used to buy my weed. Now, I'm on this stage with 60 niggas. So when the nigga said it, I'm just thinking about the house in Gardena, right? And I don't really, can't place this face versus no other face. So I know what he's referring to. So I'm just like, yep, I remember Gardena. And I just like let it phase off. I'm just caught up in the overall moment. Not knowing that this is Big Meech the whole time that's trying to. And the only reason I was not aware or probably didn't become aware of who he was any earlier is because fucking with Young Buck Jenner and him trying to over-represent what he knew about the situation. We got an opportunity to meet T at the same time. But instead of him letting me know we about to meet T, he make it seem like he finna introduce me to T that he already knows. But he don't even know if it's T or Meech. Whatever information he got, he telling me the leader of BMF. So I had one point ended up sitting in a hotel room in Detroit with me, T, and Buck for about an hour smoking and talking. And when he left, just talking with Buck, I'm like, that's the leader of BMF. So I didn't really realize it was a Meech and T at that point, like that as the leader. So I'm thinking he referring to Meech. I'm like, that's the leader? He like, yeah. I'm like, that's Meech. And instead of Buck saying, I think so, or he like, yeah. So you see how different they look. So for a long time, I had an image in my mind of what who Meech was. So I didn't even have no idea that when Meech was trying to prove to Pops, that's the other nigga name, how far we go back, which was to like the very, very early 2000s. I didn't realize it was Big Meech. But when I found out about standing on that stage 10 minutes later and realized I was like slightly embarrassed, very humble, extremely honored. Like that like meant something to me. Like not trying to belittle him in any way. It only makes it the moment larger because of how much I respect who he was for him to have the energy to try to want to prove to somebody how far we go back. That's just authentic. And I just imagine that, you know, as time exists, as genuine as the whole world views him to be, that type of connection is somehow free Big Meech. That's all I can say. But yeah, go ahead. That's too much.
And during that time, because I remember you telling me part of the story before, 50 ain't want nothing to do with BMF and Big Meech at that time.
Nor Jeezy at all. He didn't like nothing about it. Anytime Jeezy name came up, even when it wasn't associated with BMF, any type of props, he would always make comments like, I don't see what people see in it. And he would always downplay the BMF scenario in a sarcastic way because if anybody else around bring it up, they always speak in admiration.
Mm-hmm.
His input will always come from a spirit of sarcasm and predicting the downfall and never giving no props, never tap in. It could be an 8-nigga conversation responding to a recent weekend that they turned up that everybody from each coast is talking about. And everybody in the room could be speaking on it from a salutatory perspective, like, you heard about, yeah, they did this and they had this. And he'll be the only one to come in like, nigga, stupid, man. The Fed's got to be finna. That was just his spirit.
Wow.
I walked Bleu Davinci into the G Unit office. I introduced Buck to, after we met T together through one of his constituents, I introduced Buck to Meech. So when he tried to expose 50 and say, I tried to get you to sit down with Meech and all that, that's me.
Wow.
Look, cuz we used to travel. I was on a straight out of casual tour with Buck. We had extremely strict protocol that we never broke. City to city, state to state, airport, 16 passenger van, to the hotel, to the mall, to the radio, to the venue, back to the hotel, back to the airport. That's it. Get to Miami just because I'm in Miami and I'm doing my thing. When we get to the airport, when we get to the hotel, the airport, I can't recall, Bleu Davinci in the Maybach, 1D. Let's go, cuz. I'm hopping in. What you know about Young Buck shook his whole tour. Skip radio, skip. Oh, my mama. He
Son jumped in the back seat like a groupie.
What?
Buck Nasty jumped in the back seat like a groupie, huh?
What? I took her to go meet Meech, cuz, on Crip.
Wow.
Oh, mama. I saw something recently, just today.
Okay.
Somebody showed me Bleu Davinci liking a Whack Ho No Honey post that apparently is one of these subliminals Whack is directed toward me in these current days. Oh, my mama. So it's ironic you brought that up because this what blew my mind. Somebody just the other day sent me a clip trying to prove to me that Blue was a rat. And
I was going to get into that. I'm glad you...
I assumed you would. So, me trying to be as objective as possible, you know, I'm not going to even stick to the... Because it's so easy to bow out with the paperwork word that these cornballs have established to give every rat a loophole. Because how often does somebody actually have the platform to actually present paperwork in the correct form where that really matters and get it? Every time you see something that's real, the first thing you hear is, oh, it's fake, whatever. However, somebody sent me a clip and it states it's the federal investigator stating his experience with Blue in an interview. Wow. And it says Blue expressed his willingness to cooperate. However, after interviewing him, he had nothing valuable to add. And the process of going through this interview was called debriefing. So they say they debriefed him based on his verbal expression of willingness to cooperate. However, as a result of said interview, he offered nothing that was helpful. And he was, so I was just like kind of puzzled, like, damn. J. Diggs came out of nowhere and declared Meech called him a rat. Not that we heard Meech say it, but that kind of seemed credible that that's how Meech felt. And I've heard other people try to say, other people are claiming it. That I saw at one point Blue doing an interview trying to describe debriefing as something other as telling. And I didn't quite have a complete grasp on what debriefing is. But to see him showing allegiance to Whack Ho No Honey after he done sat down with Takuchi and the feds, for real, and washed up some niggas that was really getting this money, getting it out and all that, that just like speaks volumes. I don't know. I don't know what these dudes really be into, bro. I don't know. Like for him to be, but I think, you know, I think Blue spent a lot of time growing up in the valley as well.
Got you.
There's no telling what type of bond they have. And like, the homies have been kind of foul to Bluetooth through the years. He done been through some shit with the homies.
Mm.
Mama. But I don't know, cuz it's like I was like, if that's all they got, that statement saying, I mean, like, it's one thing to be Scarface in a movie and spit in a nigga's face that got you chained up with a chainsaw.
Mm.
It's another thing to finesse the people and say, hey, I don't got nothing to hide. Sure, I cooperate. But then when I'll tell you everything I know. I promise. But then when y'all start asking me about this shit, I wish I could help you. I don't know. I don't see the problem with that. I don't know. I don't see the problem with that. I don't know where they
So
trying
basically, you saying like Blue could have finessed him.
From the official record, that only thing I've seen that is the feds expressing their experience with Bleu Davinci as far as interviewing him. That's the only thing I've seen, and this is what they're saying happened. And it's like people are so...
They took that and run with it.
Yeah, they tweet on catchwords. Just like if you and I weren't equals, I could have used the title instead of applauding you for it. Find offense. Like, aren't you exposed? Like, yeah, they see, cooperate, because that's in the terminology. They didn't now allow the system to dictate the game or the streets. Instead of using that, this is what people don't realize. This whole paperwork chart, it got corny. Just like gangster, the word gangster got corny. Just like the word fade, catch the fade, and got corny as fuck. But the paperwork concept originates from this type of concept. In crime, and typically organized crime or gang scenarios where you have affiliates or enemies, there was a spoken rule even amongst your enemies: no telling, no cooperating. Now, when you violated that, there was an unspoken, unwritten rule that you a green light. Now, the thing about it is this: there has to be some type of criteria, because you're just not a green light for the person you told on. You could be from my enemy hood, and we could be on site on the streets. But if I end up in prison, and me and you on the same yard, and I can send you paperwork and show you that your homie got on the stand and told him, you still, as a authentic motherfucker, felt obligated to green light. Your boy got to get touched. That's how off the table it was. So, when you get somebody that, what? I lost my thought. What was I trying to say?
You're talking about Blue. He wasn't cooperating. The Fed was pretty much saying he was willing to cooperate, but he didn't. They said out of him.
They said he told them he would be willing to cooperate, which interpreted means I'll tell you everything I know.
Yeah.
I'll be willing to take this interview. So, of course, the process of that is going to be asking him questions that are related to the scenario that they're trying to solve. And they're saying after that, their result was he told them nothing of value.
But see, the thing too, with you there, Lo? It froze up.
I'm here.
Yeah, Lo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
Look, the thing with the streets, and you know this, I know this. Anytime when you gotta appear in court or talk to those people, you're supposed to plead the fifth. So that's how.
That's not the streets. That's not the streets. That's the internet, hip hop, and goofies all getting involved. That, man, bro, you could go back from the year 2000 back to the 70s and get official documents and see how many people actually ever have said the term "I plead the fifth" and still went in and out of court successfully without cooperating. Pleading the fifth is like some TV shit. Like, that shit don't even really come up in our vernacularity until these days, when the internet get involved and helping decide and influence every decision. What I was trying to say earlier is the paperwork is M.Reck. Me and you hold the same thing down, even if it's your homie and you my enemy. I can't just tell you he told on me and now expect you to poke him or do something to him. But if you in the game and I'm in the game and we both real to it, you see that paperwork, that's proof to make you feel comfortable moving. And the only reason you moving is because, guess what? He on the street because he told on me and I'm stuck, or he's in a whole other prison and I can't get to him. And it was a spirit of honor amongst not thieves, but amongst G's. And that was the line. It's been so blurred and stretched these days that, but cooperating, it's no technical what you're supposed to do. Leave that for T.I. talking about the G code clearly states an article. That's bullshit. The theme of it is not to aid in what do you call it when you incrimination of anyone in any form or fashion, because you can plead the fifth and still do like this while you're in the backseat of the police car, and that shit never make it to no paperwork, no nothing.
Yeah, you right.
Like I never in my life, in the scenarios where I've been told on, I don't need no nigga to see no paperwork. I know when I've been told on.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and and this is for me, cause I get tired of this shit too. Like niggas be on the internet talking about this nigga ratted, this nigga told, right? And don't be having no real facts. If a nigga ain't put a nigga in jail, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 15 to life, you can't put that on a nigga. You can't put that tag on a nigga. I see niggas do it all the time on the internet. I see dudes do it all the time on the internet.
It be controversial. At least sometimes they be like, he told on him, and it be controversial. I went through a whole battle with a nigga, Doja Game, aka JC Taylor, where I was really disrespectful, record after record, and the worst thing this nigga could say about me, and all he said was, Spot a Loc, well-known Crip, not because he put in work, because his brother was Snitch. So in order to disrespect me, the worst thing you can say toward me, period, is include somebody else. But it's right now, Bosco hold no honey, and Whack hold no honey. Repeat that same phrase, your brother is Snitch. That's how long. It's the same nigga who say Olivia was a man. And can't not one person even give you
hold on. Let me stop that.
They can't even tell you. They can't even give you an idea of who he possibly maybe told on. I never heard one name.
Hold on, let me say this. I know Olivia. That's not no man. Homegirl bad. Thank you. And this is general.
But know this. Back then, I moved around a lot of places, and I encountered more than one grown man say, "Hey, Olivia really a man?"
But see, that's that false narrative being built.
So without not only without paperwork, you can't even name who he told on or the crime, when, what day, what year it was, none of that. But because the same nigga that said Olivia was a man said your brother Snitch way back then, you got Whack hold no honey, Bosco hold no honey, still saying it today. They don't know. They just grabbing it out their ass because still yet today, when you try to disrespect somebody like the Loc, you gotta lie or include something that don't even got nothing to do with me. Because although there's no evidence of it is not true, even if it were true, what do that got to do with me? What another nigga did?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
facts. Now you're right. But let's do this. Let's keep it current. Now, you addressed the relationship with Bleu and the whole affiliation with BMF and Meech and all that, right? Bleu is spazzing right now on the internet, going at Meech, Little Meech, the whole BMF.
It looks bad.
You know, he's not in the series.
I hate to see it. But
how you feel about
I hate to see it. I hate to see it is my overall perspective. And if the only thing Bleu did to get classified as a rat is what I've been exposed to, tell the people, yeah, I'll cooperate. And then when I go and investigate, pretend like I'm really trying to figure it out. And whether I was pretending or not, I couldn't help him. And if that's the only thing he did, and they put him in a rat box because of that and excluded him as much as he was a part of that, I think that's foul. Because just think, part of the person in the executive is comfortable funding a whole murder investigation. How do you justify that? Chris Lighty died. The NYPD closed the case. Curtis opened it back up. He funded a murder investigation. How much more police do it get than that? What other?
If you ain't talking 500 and better, we ain't speaking. You losing sight of the forest. I'm a go-getter, figure it out regardless. That's what a hustler do. Move, chucking deuces. It's time we chew. Move, no more excuses.
Yo, we always gonna
get a plug and such. You a joke's bound to happen if you slipping or you lacking. I'm gripping on the Mactin, ready for the action. Shots to make you break dance and have you do a backspin. I got more kicks than karate flicks. My whole team pushing Maserati whips. You on IG liking thotty pics. Shorty pocket broke but her body fixed.
Peace, world. To promote your music or promote your business by placing an ad on MRecktv, contact MRecktVpromo, MRecktVpromo @gmail.com. Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe to MRecktv, youtube.com/MRecktv. I'm gone. MRecktv.
It's got a music.